Hi folks, I just wanted to make sure that you have a real good overview of what is happening on your data of your exam. So this is for paper 2, and we know that paper 2 is Python programming. Okay, so what are you going to expect? Well, first of all, you're going to have an actual exam booklet. Okay, so you're going to have something that looks, if I could open it, that might be helpful. Don't know why I can't open it. Bear with. There it is, there. So you're going to have an exam booklet here. But first thing to notice, you're going to have 2 hours. Okay, you're going to have a 2 folders and a PLS. So your Z drive on your computer is going to look like this. PLS there, which can be opened up, which I was having problems with, open with Adobe Reader. Okay, you got your PLS there, and you've got your 2 folders. Your completed coding will be blank, and your student coding will have your files in it. Obviously, these are just pretend files. That's well, from 2023. The aim really is all your work, okay, as it says in the exam paper, should be saved in the completed coding folder, and also should be named in a particular way. So it's really, really important that it is done in that way. So a good trick to do straight away is in here, highlight all this, okay, highlight all those, copy them, yeah, and then go over to the completed coding, because that's all the examiner is going to look at. So the examiner will not look anywhere apart from in here, okay, and then just rename them. So go completed, yeah, press that. So before we've even started, name your files so there's no dramas about saving them, saving to the wrong folder, and all that sort of stuff. That's always a good thing to do. So yeah, you might be a bit panicky. You're not going to be necessarily in the room that you have your lessons in, but you will be at computer systems that you're familiar with. Okay, so yeah, rename them, and you may have so you will have 6 Python files. You might have a couple of text documents, okay, but we'll talk about that later. So really, your finished files are going to look like that. They won't be marked unless they look like that, and your finished files need to be in your completed coding file folder. So always just check that. So remember, you got 75 marks, okay, 2 hours. We're looking, you know, a good score is anything over 30. Okay, so each question, typically, if there's 6 questions, okay, you're going to have anywhere between sort of 7 and 10 to 15 marks each. So, you know, particularly look at that. Also remember, question 1, 2, and 3 are the easier ones, and then 4, 5, 6 get progressively harder. So one thing that you have also been given is the exam reminders stations printout for your revision. So that's something that you should be doing. So really, we don't know what type of questions they're going to be, and what the exact question title is going to be, but we know there'll be a mixture of amend or create or fix or resort or things like that. So they're always the same format. Okay, so remember, we're going to be using Thonny. If there is any dramas with it not working, just switch to Python idle. So if you go Python idle, okay, go into that if you're having problems with Thonny, not that you should have, okay, and when you get there, you then need to go new window and then save it in there. Okay, I don't think that will be a problem, but if it is, pop your hand up. Okay, we talked about this already. Really, the way that we go about this exam is, as I've sort of said from September of last year is when we started building up to your programming mock, is that, you need to read the question, okay? So, read the question, then check the type of question. So, right, this is a amend question, or this is a mixture of errors, okay? And also highlight. So have a highlighter with you, okay? I'll do a sound of a highlighter. Ready? Have that with you, okay? So also read the question, like where it says don't add any functionality, or amend the lines at the bottom, or whatever it is. Okay, then open the file in Sonnet and glance what it says. So have a look. You understand the question roughly. You may still be a bit confused about actually what you want to do, but by opening the question, it might help you even more. So rather than going, oh, I don't know what to do, or whatever, and then, as I've said to you in lesson before, this is your file. Okay, we always know at the start of the top of the document are going to be your libraries. Then we're going to have your variables declared, initialized. Then you're going to have your subprograms, and you're going to have the main program. So if we just look through the question, try to understand what it is, rather than trying to find what's the answer. Just think about what the program is doing really quickly here, okay, and understand where you might spot errors and so on. But it depends what the question is. Okay, so go through there and then answer the question how it is. Now, what you can do if you're not sure, if you know, if you're not sure, we can always use the PLS, can't we? So that the PLS is there not to give you all the answers, but to give you a bit of help. So open with Adobe Acrobat there. So if you can't remember what a constant is, for instance, it says where's a constant. So if we type in constants and go Control F, all in uppercase characters. Okay, so that helps. So you could split your screen, or just use the digital PLS to find particular things. So if it says, it says, I think in that question it says what's a selection. If you can't remember what a selection is, oh look, selection if, else, whatever. If the question says what's a record is sequence items using mixed. So you can quickly Control F and the PLS to find out certain things. Okay, then we start the question, and at each time take each task as it is. And really what we're trying to do here is I would highlight things that you've done. So typically they'll not only prompt you in the exam, but also give you, have you done that? And then really, if you really want to, tot up what you think you got, in terms of, yeah, I got that completely right. Okay. But yeah, cross-reference the PLS if you're not quite sure of words. Okay, so that's the sort of process of doing it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Remember, we've got the PLS is, there's nothing going to be in the exam that's not in the PLS. Okay, these are just operators. So where you are asked to do an interdivision or addition, or power of the, again, this is on your sheet, you need to learn these. Okay, so if it's got 2 star 3, that is 2 to the 2 to the power of 3, isn't it? Again, in the PLS. Okay, so operators are things like mathematical things. We've also got our variables. Remember, again, this is an excellent revision. Constants always in upper place. Constants do not change their value, they're only in capital letters. So again, you just need to know this, okay, and think a bit about what we're doing. Okay, so white space, again, sometimes I'll give marks, and it's just an easy mark, isn't it, really? Maybe sometimes it's 2. Okay, so you can see before, and putting white space in here to make the code more readable. Comments, okay, they can be, it might say in the question, add some comments to add readability, or comment your code, or add a comment to explain the result of this. So using that hashtag really helps. And obviously they don't run, and so on. So yeah, I think comments are pretty simple. So when we get into the world of, we get like arrays, like, so we get a square bracket and arrays, and having to find or output or understand what a code does. Just remember that the very first value, either in a 1D or 2D array or even a record, is the index position 0, as it has here. Okay, so if we want to play around with the what we call string manipulation, so we're trying to just get one value or one record, then remember these are sort of these. And again, you could try at home, get a bit of Thonny, get a lot like an online IDE, and have a little play with what these do. And if you go into the PLS, certainly if you go into here, string manipulations, got anything on the string? It has got things in here on strings. Okay, and it's that's more for files, but it has got, yeah, it has got what's it got? It's got the ability to find, check if it's a alphanumeric or strip. It tells you what to do in terms, and also another thing I was going to say is, why not, if you're coding, why not from the PLS, the digital version, if you need a bit of code, copy that in there, and then you can just paste it in here. So obviously it's not going to have those, but you'd have your string, whatever that's going to be. I don't know, whatever is upper, and that will give a Boolean result, won't it, true or false. So there are some string, hang on, let me just index positions of zeros. Yeah, there's stuff here, isn't there? Here we go. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of stuff there. Anyways, so again, learn these sort of things. So bracket, and then you can have a range of things and so on. Getting user inputs, obviously name equals input. What is your name? Okay, please remember, I had this the other day in not saying year 11, but when you're doing an input, you always have to have a variable first. So I've seen this appear. People do that. It's like, well, no, you need a variable to hold the, so that's not going to work. I've also had this the other week. Yeah, it's sort of no. So if you're trying to get data, you need a variable, and you might need to look in the program or work out what a sensible name is, to get the right variable. And remember, declaring variables, we're declaring the name, and we're initializing the value here. So that might be weight, might be 0, okay, or age equals 0, okay. So we've got our data types and so on, all the stuff that we've learned. I think the float stuff is in there. I think if in the PLS, if you go in here and you go float, yeah, it tells you what a float is. Yeah, converting before. Yeah, it tells you how to add a float in there. Yeah, lots of stuff in there. So it's sort of quite basic stuff, isn't it? Ranges for iteration. So remember, an iteration is a for loop, and a for loop just loops a certain number of times based on a range or based in a variable. Okay, and there is the ability to go up and down. And again, this is something that you just need to learn. Okay, that you've got a range of 3. 0 is the start, 6 is stop. Okay, don't go, not part of the result. So 6 won't be part of the result. So it'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and increment in 1. Okay, so again, is there stuff in the PLS if you get struct? Well, I mean, a lot of it you'll probably know. Range, here we go. See here, iteration. Yeah, you've got for I, or for item, or for num in range. Yeah, and then there we go. start, stop, and there's even got the start, stop step. Yeah. So, you know, you could, if you're not quite sure how to loop through some data, you know, copy and paste that in, and literally for, I don't know, iron. So let's say there's some data here, whatever. Animals, I can't think of an animal. Cow, cat. Okay, and you want to print that all out for position 0. Stop. Don't go past 2, 0, 1. So yeah, for iron range. So for item in range, doesn't matter what that's called. You call it whatever you want to, and then you could go print I, that sort of thing, and that will do that. Okay. So you need to, again, those sort of things you need to do that. Python errors, you need to learn those. Indentation error is just an indent. So remember what an indent is. That's an indent. So if you got code like that, well, after a for, a while, an if, a if, else, a def, the next line needs to be indented. You can't have that. And it might not work if you press space as well. So it needs to be brought back up there and then returned. Okay. Same for here. If whatever, the next line is always going to be indented. So that's an error if that's indented. What else were we talking about? We were talking about type error. It's just a data type. So it's like, you know, you're trying to output a number when it's a string or vice versa. Name errors, there's a problem with a variable, and syntax is spelling. Comparison operators, well, we sort of like talked a bit about that before. You've obviously got the mathematical errors, then you've got the comparison. So equals, not equals, less than, greater than, less than and equal. Just make sure you know your less thans and greater than. Okay. Flowchart shapes, you might have a flowchart question that say, not make a flowchart. Here's a flowchart, convert it into code. Okay. So we know terminators don't really use that unless it asks you to exit the program. Remember to exit the program. What would that be? So if I try exit, okay, what's exit going to be? What's exit? I thought they had exit in it. Maybe. Well, it's exit and then 2 brackets. Okay. Input and output. So input is going to be variable and then equals input or int or whatever it is. Okay, and then output's going to be print. Process is going to be a variable, so it might be a variable doing a calculation. So, you know, a process might be something like, I don't know, I'm obsessed by weight, equals, I don't know, kilograms times 76, whatever. That is a process. Okay. You've also got your decision, so that could be either an if, or for a while. Okay, so be wary of that. And the good thing about flowcharts is that just follow it through in your code. Okay, in terms of selection, which might be part of the flowchart or maybe on its own, just remember these simple rules. Okay, that, you know, the condition, you know, for, while, if, whatever, all have conditions. If x is equal to 3, if that's true, what do we do? And that code could be 1 line or it could be 20 lines. Okay, decide between 2 blocks. Just simple stuff, guys. Just really, really simple stuff. Okay, learn these if you're not sure. Okay, iteration, which is count control. Count controlled is a for loop. So condition controlled is while loop. Count controlled is I'm going to do things for a certain amount of time. We talked a bit about this a minute ago. This is a for I in, or it could be num in a particular variable or a range. Okay, what do we do? Okay, so in a flow chart, you would have your decision. Okay, and you say, is x less than 10? If it is, yeah, and then what do you do if the condition is true? Okay. Yeah, and remember in the PLS it does talk to you about for. So if we go for, yeah, if you're really stuck, can't remember what it's called. I mean, it's obviously called iteration. I'm getting the long way around here. There we go. So we've again, we just talked about a minute ago, didn't we? But you've got all your things there, okay, to help you on that. So again, just learn the structure. Condition controlled, iteration, while. So while a condition is true, whatever the condition true is, do this, okay. And again, in the PLS, it's got examples of those as well. So, you know, while condition, while the condition is true, do then add some more code. What else? String formatting. So this is, we did quite a few lessons on this, and remember the PLS, it's got a lot of help now on whatever page it is on what to do. So how would we did printing out, didn't we, lines and tables, and you all did quite well on that. Again, revise from that. So if we go to the PLS and we go to formatting, so they always like to, as it sort of gets further on the page, they like to get a more of a more formatting in. So there we go. So yeah, that is what we're doing. Okay, so have a look at those and just learn those. Python Turtle, again, there's a huge amount of stuff in the PLS for that, and it's just one of those things you've got to remember how to do. Okay, so fundamentally, you've got to do, I'm just going to pause the video for a second, 2 seconds. Can I pause the video? Not sure I can. Anyways, so we just got to remember things like the actual, let's go to the PLS, it's probably a bit easier. Okay, so we've got to also remember that a window has a particular height and width, but also a starting point as well. Okay, so this is quite important if you want to set up the height of the actual of the turtle window, but also remember about the X and Y as well. Okay, about the particular positions. Okay, about where those are. So the beginning position is always 0, 0. So use your X and Y, your maths, to work out maybe where things get positioned. Okay, but it's worth going through the PLS that I've given you to go through that. Okay, when you're doing your code, it works exactly the same as Python, so you can use if statements and whatever, but remember to test your program and think about exactly what they want in that. Okay, remember, we can hide the turtle, show the turtle, make it so when you're making multiple shapes, make the shape and then hide the turtle, move, show the turtle, redraw, and just think about what we're doing. Okay, I'd probably say, coloring wise, you've got to think about, think about the color setup, then begin fill, fill color, and then end fill. Okay, and think about the process and that, controlling the pen, and so on. So even if it doesn't work, you get a lot of the code right, it will work. Things like drawing circles, the colors, obviously in American format. And there's lots and lots. There will be, I'd imagine there will be a question on that. Okay, so have a look at these little helps on the worksheets to do that. So in terms of file management, again, you can spot if there's a file question because you will see a little text file. So again, let's not be scared of these. Again, this guy is very good. The PLS has quite a lot as well, but the main thing is that you're either going to write to a file or you're going to take data from a file. Okay, remember, think about how you might search through a file by using if you're first of all, you got to open it and open it in the right way. Is it to read, to write, okay, to append? then you're going to what are you looking for? So it might be an input, and then you might have a an iteration to do in there. So for line in file, okay, whatever, yeah, if name in line. So there are loads and loads of help in there. Okay, and obviously do the f.close as well. That's obviously massively easy to get. So you know, with files, and we've done work on that quite a bit. Okay, make sure that you understand what you're doing, and think about the basics on it. There's quite a bit of help on that. So 2D arrays, we talked about this the other day in the revision, and so on. So you know, a 2D array is an array with the same data in it, but obviously, you know, you've got multiple brackets within brackets, and basically, you got to think about it as rows and positions. So that's sort of like row 0 or row 1 or row 0, and then item 0 in there. Okay, so again, when you're sort of like outputting data, well, which row is it? Row 0 and row 2, and then the second item 0, 1, 2 will print out 2. So again, look through these and understand, try and pretend. Remember, we've got 4 libraries that we only have to do. Make sure you spell import right. Random, time, maths, and turtle. You know, if things like square roots or constants, or you know, the smallest integer, not less than this, look at those particular commands and learn them in the PLS. And finally, subprograms, you know, we know how to find them. In terms of passing parameters, look at this one here. This is a really good one to look at, about how we pass parameters into these, and obviously change their names, because we want these are local variables. And remember, if we want to make them global, we put the word global after the defining. Global measure 1 would make that available outside the program. So global variables in there. I don't think it talks about, does it talk about global in the PLS? No, it doesn't. Yeah, local. No, it doesn't. So remember your local and global variables. So that's it really. So main thing is understand the PLS, understand this revision sheet, read the questions, have a good go at it. Okay, try to get that 30+ marks. Okay, and go mad. You know, get all the first question, 2-3 questions right, and then go from there. Okay, so that's that. Thank you for watching.